Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. There's a website for Chris Ann, chris-ann with an e.com. It's down here if you want to freeze frame and check that out if you need to or like to. Hopefully that's focusing. Okay. Supportive Oracle cards. Spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lisbeth. Websites for them. Let's see. You got shewhoisart.com. There's a couple other ones there too. Feel free to check out any of those websites that you want to. Okay. Just freeze frame, of course. Same thing with that. What do we have for Capricorn? Capricorn. The first thing that popped right out is things have to change. Are you a fan of that? Doesn't really seem like it right off the bat. But it's kind of like you're looking at the situation like, this isn't working. And you keep trying to refine it and adjust it. But it's kind of like looking at the situation. It's kind of like having that old vehicle that you've had probably too long. And you're like, I've been fixing it and repairing it and replacing it. But you know what? It's becoming too costly to keep up with the repairs. It's not making sense anymore. It's just not making sense anymore. Do I want to move on to something else? No. Actually, if I could just, update this and keep it, I'd prefer to keep what I have. I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. But is that really the best outcome? Is that the most feasible outcome for me? Is that the best course of action? Like, no. I feel like I'm begrudgingly accepting myself, kind of like going, yeah, no, this isn't working. It reminds me also of like appliances. Okay. Yeah, well. For example, my grandmother had a refrigerator. She had a refrigerator. It was 1975 when I was born. She had this refrigerator and it came with the house. I lived in her house. I lived in her house. I had that refrigerator till 2008. It's kind of like looking at it in the same context, kind of like things, the way things used to last a lot longer, and I'm getting kind of like, I want something that's going to last for a long time, but that's just not reasonable anymore. It just doesn't seem. I don't know why that's coming in, but it just kind of like came in from the side, so I threw it in there. But it's kind of like that feeling, kind of like, I feel like this situation should last, but it just isn't going to. And I think that's what I'm trying to get from that analogy. Is like, I feel like when I get something like an appliance now, it should last like a good 20, 25 years, if not a little. That was a good 30 years, actually, probably more. I don't know. It was a sturdy thing. It worked. But it's like nowadays, it's like you get 15 years, you're doing real good with a thing like that. It seems to me, anyway. It's just the situation just doesn't work the same. It just doesn't. So it's kind of like feeling like I don't feel like this should be done, but it's kind of like the way things are working, it's done. And it's like, it's in my own benefit to not only accept it, but then make a plan to change it. Change it while it's still in your control. For example, if we're going to use the vehicle situation, it's kind of like, before I get stranded on the side of the road and really have issues and costs a lot more to get that taken care of, changing over to a different vehicle before it costs me that time, money, aggravation, whatever you got going on. And I feel like you're not gonna there may be people telling you what they're telling you. I would say if that's happening and that's aggravating you, step away from it. Make your pro-con list for the situation itself and just ignore their energy as best as you can. Who cares what they think? Whether it's on point or not, it doesn't matter. You're the one making the decision. Because I feel like once you make the decision to change the situation, you'll find what you need to find to make it happen. You'll do it your way. When I'm getting finding with this and this Queen of Wands, like, you'll decide, you'll be ready, and you'll move forward in a quick manner that's correct for you. To you, it's quick and it's acceptable. It's not for other people to say if it's quick or not. Because I feel like one person will say, well, that wasn't quick at all. Another will be like, well, that was too fast. It's up to you. You're going to move forward quickly. You'll find what you need to find. We want to steer away from other people's opinions. They're going to be there, but just kind of like, whatever their opinions are. Don't let those opinions affect you in a negative way. Whether they're on point or not with what you're doing anyway. Because I keep getting, there's a lot of chatter coming towards you. I almost feel like the first analogies I used were too much chatter. So maybe that's kind of reminiscent from too much chatter. Oh my gosh, too much chatter. Remove yourself from the chatter if you can. At the very least, do not let it affect your decisions in a negative way. If somebody gives you a good idea that you didn't know of anyway, I wouldn't feel bad about using it. I don't care if they're right or not. Do what's best for you. Because I feel like there's just a lot of chatter. I don't know, weird chatter. Like people, there might be some good ideas that kind of come towards you. If you want to check them out, great. If you're like, no, that's not for me, then it's not. But like if you were going in this direction anyway and somebody mentions like, well, you should go that direction, who cares if they like it or not? Just don't let them affect you. Because there's some type of aggravation with too much chatter. I keep getting that. As you keep going forward, if that chatter is happening, I can't get away from the chatter. If you can't get away from the chatter, at least let it work to your advantage. They don't have to know you're listening. I get that too. If they're just kind of throwing ideas out to you, listen to what you want to listen to. Keep it in your brain. Write it down if you want to. They don't need to know that. And search out your own answers from whatever they said. So if they're like saying, oh, this vehicle is good for this reason and that other reason, remember the name of the vehicle. When you get a moment, write it down. You research it for your own ability. You decide if that's right for you or not. Don't walk away from it because they said it. But, obviously, because I know you won't choose it just because they said it, but don't walk away from it just because they said it either. Because there might be some good ideas that are kind of floating around you. And I just feel like it's annoying. The chatter is annoying. Stressful, even. If you can, and it's up to you if you can or not. And that's what I keep getting. So if you're like, nope, not doing that, then you're not doing it. Then that's it. That's how it is. But if you can, this chatter energy, throw them a bone. For example, if we're going to use the car situation again, tell them that you're looking for one, but you need certain specifications. Like, well, I don't know about that one because the type of vehicle I want is blah, 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 and can do blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Throw them a bone. See what they do with it. If they give you an idea, you're like, oh, I'd have to see a picture of it first, or I'd have to see it in person first. You'd be surprised. Throw them a bone, because if you throw them a bone, you will lighten your load. I feel like you're not really sure about this, because when I'm getting the Page of Cups, when you're dealing with that, you're like, are they just making stuff up? Are they just making stuff up? That's why, like, if they give you a couple ideas, if you say, well, I need this, this, and that, and they're like, well, this would work and that would work, and then you're like, hey, well, I'd have to see a picture of it, or I'd prefer to see it in person. I'd have to at least see a picture of it. But then I'd like to see it in person to see if that really does fit. You might be surprised. They might pull through for you because I'm getting healing with the King of Pentacles. You might be surprised because they know what you require. They know you're not going to just go forward on a whim. They're going to have to put some, backing behind what they're saying. They have to prove to you that they're right. They know they're going to have to prove to you that they're right. If they're right. They may not even be right, but they have to at least prove to you that what they said is true. They have to prove to you what they said was true. So right is subjective. Whatever you think is right, go for that. They have to prove what they said was true. That's what they have to do. And I feel like they might shock you. They really might shock you. They also have to accept that, like, final say is in your court. They'll bring you information, but that's it. They don't get to call the shots. I feel like you're going to take that information. It's almost like they give you an idea about this type of car, and it has this and that, and this is where you can get it. Then you'll take that information, if you want to do this, and then you'll reform it. You're like, all right, well, I do like this, and I do like that, and this does have that option. I don't need that, though. I don't need this other, bell and whistle thing. I don't need that. So I'll just do this, and that'll be fine. So you'll define it anyway. When push comes to shove, you'll define it the way you want it to anyway. I mean, you will. You know you will. You know you will. This is a successful outcome. If you are able or willing to utilize this person, this chatter, it's the chatter. Because I think it's the same person with all the chatter. It can be helpful. Especially if you set it off on a task and it can go away for a minute and return with more information. That's even better if that's possible. Kind of like, well, for example, maybe it's somebody that you're constantly around and you're like, well, I'm thinking this weekend I might go looking for cars, but I'm not sure where just yet. But I have some stuff I have to do now. I can't talk about it right now, but I gotta go do this stuff. And they're like, well, okay, when you come back, I'll have some ideas about some things. And you're like, all right. Then you're just kind of like, when you realize that when you return to them, they're going to have information, you'll be like, well, I'm just going to be very strategic about when I go back over there and talk to that one, because they're going to have a mouthful for me, I'm sure of that. But at least use it to your advantage. If it's going to be chatter anyway, might as well at least use it to your advantage, because I do see success here, and I do see your outcome with the lovers and success. Like, it's a very great outcome. They can help you get a lot of answers. It's up to you whether you utilize it. If you're like, no, then it's a no. Then that's it. So this reading is just kind of saying you can make this a lot easier on yourself. Have them do a lot of legwork. And then at the end, you just, double check and make sure everything is what everything is supposed to be. Because you will. You're going to double check anyway. You really will. So I don't see, I'm not really worried about it. If this person could get you closer to what you want to find and they give you a lot of good information, you'll hone it down. You'll double check it. You'll be where you want to be. Is it good? Yeah, you have a good outcome here. A really good outcome. Ten of Pentacles is great for Capricorn. Very solid, very positive, very good outcome. It also matches up with the Ace of Pentacles. Very, very good outcome. They're just saying, do yourself a favor. Utilize this chatter person. Might as well. You don't have to. If you say no, then it's no. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.